And now it's time for another segment of this fantasy football start sit we've been doing over the past couple of weeks. Low key, we've been killing it, and it's
Hey,
the
low key money,
it's
except me, one for
this is
two.
crunch time for fantasy football. Fantasy football players, playoffs starting in about 3 or 4 weeks, so you got to stack some dubs and get into the playoffs. So we want to give you guys the best chance to do that, giving you players that you got to start. If they're in your lineup, you got to try and sit them down if you can afford to. As always, a little disclaimer: last week, some of our big hits, starting Michael Carter, sitting DJ Moore, sitting Adam Thielen. We had some good calls last week. So this
Starting
week,
Hunter Renfro. Can we
starting
get
Hunter
some?
Renfro, that was good. He beat me in a league. It sucked. I didn't like it. I was hoping
Hey.
you were wrong. That's the one time I was hoping we were off. But this week, we'll start it off. My fantasy start is David Montgomery. And while it may be like, okay, that's not a very surprising start, I feel like we have not heard a single thing out of anyone's mouth about David Montgomery in the past couple of weeks. Even though he came back from injury, he was still partially hurt, and he took about every single valuable touch for the Bears against the Steelers, and he's had a bye week to get healthy. In the week, right when he came off the injured reserve, he had 13 carries compared to Khalil Herbert's 4 and 2 targets compared to Khalil Herbert's 0. And that was still, like I mentioned, he was still coming back from injury, hadn't played in a couple weeks, and now he's coming off of a bye. He's facing Baltimore, 21st best matchup for fantasy running backs this season. And I think people forget he was a fringe running back 1 coming into the year. You got to make sure you're starting him. You fire him up in your lineup this week because David Montgomery's back. He'll be back for the rest of the season. And I think that last week he proved he's that bell cow guy that we were kind of worried about once we saw Khalil Herbert break out after he got injured.
Baltimore does have a pretty good run defense, so a little bit cause of concern there. But I do agree with you on how much share he's going to get in the backfield because Montgomery being back is very big for the Bears. My start of the week is actually going to be a guy you could potentially put in your flex spot. That guy is Elijah Moore against Miami. And I'm assuming that Xavier Howard is going to be covering Corey Davis. So I think that's going to open up a good amount of looks for Elijah Moore against the worst pass defense in the NFL right now. I'm pretty sure when it comes to, yards. So I think Elijah Moore has a big opportunity here. And I think he's going to take advantage of it. I'm going to go with Elijah Moore as my start.
Yeah, Miami worst pass defense didn't look so bad against Baltimore.
No, the Jets.
Hey, it's my little shout on them. But my start is gonna be Derek Carr. And quick note on Dave Montgomery. I love Khalil Herbert. Sucks that he won't get.
Me too. I mean, he was really good for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
good 6th-round
productive
pick. Hey, love to see it. But yeah, my start's gonna be Derek Carr. Again, I think I've said it on this pod a couple times and on our Instagram how much he's really, impressed me and won me over this year. But again, forget the stuff off the field. I'm talking about on the field. I think he's a better start than maybe Aaron Rodgers this week. Obviously, you got guys like Stafford on bye, so if you're kind of in that who do I go with? What's that quarterback that can have a good game on Sunday? Not maybe a guy that you want to keep every type of week. It's Derek Carr. He always again he's going to throw the ball a lot. He again I think he's top 3 in passing yards and he's 2nd in yards per game. And he also is going to throw against the Bengals secondary that let Baker Mayfield still drop 200 yards on 21 attempts. So I think this is, a start for him. And again, maybe over like a guy like Aaron Rodgers. Again, if you have like, a player on bye, I think Derek Carr is worth a start.
I think I might want to start the other quarterback in that matchup. Chances are he's not on your waiver wire though. Someone who is maybe is Ryan Tannehill, who I also think could warrant a start this week. I feel like we have yet to see how good of a week Ryan Tannehill can have because they're going to rely on him so much after Derrick Henry. And if it's going to be any of the weeks, it's this week against Houston. My sit this week is going to be Buffalo running back Zach Moss. A couple of weeks ago, just like Khalil Herbert, looked like a pretty solid fantasy running back. The problem is Devin Singletary is back healthy in his first week coming off of injury. He took just about all the targets again, and it proves that when Singletary is healthy, it is a complete committee in Buffalo. Moss is just going to get the ball at the goal line. Like that's his only value right now. And even Matt Breida coming out and stealing touchdowns. You just cannot start Zach Moss. He was nice for a couple of weeks, but with Singletary healthy, the Buffalo does not run the ball enough to warrant starting either of the members in this committee.
You guys might disagree with this, might agree. My sit of the week is actually going to be Saquon Barkley on Monday Night Football. I don't like the matchup at all. Coming off injury, going up against one of the best run defenses in the NFL, one of the best run stuffers in the entire NFL in Vita Vea. I just don't like the matchup here. I think the same goes for Devontae Booker. It's just whichever of them gets the most carries. I don't trust Giants running backs this week. And, maybe there's some leverage for Saquon considering he's coming off injury. We don't know what we're going to get. I just don't like the matchup though, and it's making me lean towards he's not going to be as effective as he could be.
Hey, all I know is that Brady, when he plays the Giants, it's always a close game. And the Giants sometimes, I know not the Super Bowls, but even in the regular season, it's always close.
Yeah, that was Eli Manning, not Daniel Jones.
Yeah, I love both of them. I love both of them. Both are, been my favorites. But my sit of the week it's kind of surprising, I guess. It's going to be Amari Cooper. Again, there was a lot of back and forth coming into the year. Who would be the wide receiver one for this team? A lot of people were riding CD, right? They thought, okay, this is his year. A lot of people still stuck with no, Amari's still the better overall receiver. He's still going to get the most targets. I think it's safe to say that CD is I think he's just been, better in this offense. And that's not saying he's better overall than Amari Cooper. I still think Amari's a better overall receiver, but CD's kind of been the guy that's been most targeted. Maybe he gets, less CB1 matchups, and which is kind of true. But against the Kansas City Chiefs, again, I think they'll kind of, put maybe Fenton on him, and then they'll put L'Jarius Sneed on CD, or maybe they'll put, Sneed on Cooper and Fenton on CD. And I think CD would have a better game as a result of that. So, a potential sit, and maybe, a guy like Brandon Cooks would be a better start. Just, those type of guys where it's like, okay, maybe you wouldn't start him over Cooper, but again, if you have to start him, you have to. Like, I think I have to start him because I've got some bad matchups with other receivers on my team. So we'll see how it goes, but that's my sit.
It is a pretty good matchup for Cooper, though.
Yeah.
I mean, going against the Chiefs, I think that's the biggest over-under this week is that Chiefs-Cowboys game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I might still think about starting him, but definitely if you've got a league where, an 8-team league, a 10-team league.
It's just, I don't know what I'm getting. That's why,
and they're on the road, and how Amari Cooper plays on the road.
Yeah.
And Fenton did good last week.
It's not 2019, but, odd number year, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys ready to get into picks?